As we approach God's Word, let us bow together for our illumination. May the meditations of our hearts, Lord, and the contemplations of our souls be acceptable to you, O Lord, our rock and our Redeemer. And all God's children said, Amen. First, we'll read responsively Psalm 118. This is a psalm of ascents. As the people were going up the stairs into the temple, they could see the Holy of Holies through the opening coming up the steep stairs. And, of course, this being the resurrection day, we are ascending as well. So we'll read this psalm responsively. Please join me. Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His steadfast love endures forever. Let Israel say, his steadfast love endures forever. The Lord is my strength and my might. He has become my salvation. There are glad songs of victory in the tents of the righteous. The right hand of the Lord does valiantly. The right hand of the Lord is exalted. The right hand of the Lord does valiantly. I shall not die, but I shall live and recount the deeds of the Lord. The Lord has punished me severely, but he did not give me over to death. Open to me the gates of righteousness, that I may enter through them and give thanks to the Lord. This is the gate of the Lord. The righteous shall enter through it. This is the gate of the Lord. The righteous shall enter through it. I thank you that you have answered me and have become my salvation. The stone that the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone. This is the Lord's doing. It is marvelous in our eyes. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Our second reading is a short reading from the letter of Paul to the Colossians. So, if you have been, I should say that if you do not have this handy, and you can't see this up here, I would invite you to get your own Bible out and follow along in yours. I'm using the New Revised Standard Version here. So, if you have been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above, where Christ is seated, at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. For you have died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is your life, is revealed, then you also will be revealed with him in glory. Our reading of the story of the Gospels starts with Matthew 28. After the Sabbath, as the first day of the week was dawning, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to see the tomb. And suddenly there was a great earthquake, for the angel of the Lord descending from heaven came and rolled back the stone and sat on it. His appearance was like lightning, and his clothing white as snow. For fear of him, the guards shook and became like dead men. But the angel said to the woman, "Do not be afraid. I know you are looking for Jesus who was crucified. He is not here, for he has been raised as he said. Come, see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples, he has been raised from the dead, and indeed he is going ahead of you to Galilee. There you will see him. This is my message to you." So they left the tomb quickly with fear and joy and ran to tell his disciples. Suddenly Jesus met them and said, "Greetings." And they came to him, took hold of his feet, and worshipped him. Then Jesus said to them, "Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers to go to Galilee. There they will see me." Where do we find hope in this new world, this world of COVID-19 that we have? Just very recently, the governor of Iowa expressed hope that Iowa was turning a corner, even though Iowa's experience hasn't been anything like that in New York City, a city with a population greater than the whole state of Iowa together. And now we're hearing just how hard the rural parts of our country are. Right here in Wisconsin, of course, the hotspots are, like elsewhere, the more populous counties where the cities are. Madison and Dane County particularly, but also the 5 counties along Lake Michigan, north of Chicago, including Milwaukee and Racine. Wisconsin total has had positive tests numbering 2,885. That's almost 3,000 as of Monday, Thursday. With 29,000 of those, or 29% of those, or 843, still hospitalized, and 111 have died. Here in Muscatine, where we meet these 3 different counties, there are only 4 patients in Grant County, mostly down closer to Dubuque and Platteville, 4 patients in Iowa County, to our southeast, and 3 patients in Richland County, north of us, and no death in any of the 3. In Iowa, we've had 1,270 confirmed cases, a little less than half of what Wisconsin has had, with nearly 500 people being listed now as recovered, because you can recover from COVID. But we've also had 29 who have died, about slightly more than 1/4 of what Wisconsin has lost. These are hard numbers. But harder still is hearing about this plague and how it affects individual people. The stories of people are hard stories with much pain and loneliness as they watch and listen, but can have no contact with someone that they may well never be able to hug again in this world. And of course, there are all the other problems that we have, least among them, the inconveniences. I personally am a great advocate of libraries. This is the one we have in Dubuque, the Carnegie Stout Library. It's a wonderful place. It's a rare week that I'm not there visiting it. And it's an unusual week when my wife doesn't go to the store every day. Of course, in Dubuque, we have more availability than here in Muscatine. But you yourself know what I mean. You could list, and in fact, I think you should stop for a moment and list how you personally are inconvenienced, at least, in this COVID time. But these inconveniences are really very, very small. Very, very small compared to us getting the disease. And more important, they're even small compared to us giving the disease to someone else. At least 1 in 4 Americans probably is a carrier of COVID-19, even if they don't have any symptoms. Today you see me here with my own makeshift mask, and I forgot to take it out, but I'll take it out right here so you can see mine. I have mine with me, and I have a tie that goes around the back, and it only muffles my own voice just a little bit, although my glasses fog up a little bit. Okay? You should get a mask as well. These are why masks are so important when you're around others. My breath carries droplets in the air. Every time you breathe on a mirror, you see fog on the mirror. And that's moisture coming out of your lungs. It could carry COVID, which is why you need to wear a mask to protect others from you. It doesn't keep you from getting it, but it protects others. If you want some examples of these masks or other masks, I would encourage you to contact me. I'd love to make them available. If you really want to lend a hand, you could make some masks. There are plans for sewing, and I know many of you are into sewing. And you could sew these and give them to the postal carrier or the person at the convenience store or the grocery clerk. There are all kinds of people out there who should be wearing masks, including you. And I'm sure if you need to know where to get rid of them, the police will be glad to come by and pick them up and get them to the people. They don't need to be professional N95 masks, but they can help others who don't necessarily need the N95.